You hit the snooze button, groan about the morning light filtering through the blinds, and drag yourself out of bed to feed a mild caffeine dependency. Right now, your biggest struggle is waiting for the coffee machine to finish brewing. That is an incredible luxury. If we skip past the powdered wigs and medieval chainmail, we eventually find a distant grandfather squatting in the dirt, chewing on a beetle, frantically trying not to die before sundown. You are not here today because of luck. You exist as the byproduct of violent coincidence and extremely stubborn biology. Thousands of your exact predecessors had to successfully dodge fangs, freeze in drafty caves, and outrun hungry apex predators. If even one person in your specific ancestral chain had tripped at the wrong moment, you simply wouldn't exist. We are going to trace your exact bloodline backward through time to see what a historic morning routine actually demanded from the people who made your life possible. To understand how a boring modern morning even became possible, we have to rewind history to its darkest, most lethal starting point. We are going back in time roughly 74,000 years, right to the exact moment the massive Toba supervolcano violently erupted. Looking at this global temperature chart, we can track the immediate climate impact of that eruption. The sheer volume of volcanic ash blocked out the sun, triggering a catastrophic winter that caused average temperatures to crash by 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Your ancestors woke up day after day in a frozen desert, suffocated by darkness. Forests turned into graveyards, rivers dried up. The only routine that mattered was a desperate daily scramble for scarce calories to avoid starvation. This diagram shows the result of that ecosystem collapse, a genetic bottleneck. Sudden extreme conditions forced a widespread human population through a narrow survival filter. And looking at the far side, the data is staggering. The global population shrank to fewer than 3,000 total individuals. As a species, humanity was nearly wiped out. In this era, the only morning routine was a lingering, suffocating hope that you would survive long enough to ever see the sun again. Let's jump forward to the Ice Age, roughly 20,000 years ago, during the last glacial maximum. You are waking up in a drafty hut made of mammoth bones, sharing the dirt floor with 40 of your relatives. Opening your eyes meant immediately fighting off hypothermia. Before you even thought about food, you rapidly stitched raw animal hides together using bone needles to keep your limbs from freezing off. Your morning commute involved tracking down 6-ton woolly mammoths, beasts the size of school buses, and trying to bring them down using just a sharpened stick. Beyond the hunt, threats lurked in every shadow. Massive apex predators like the cave lion forced you to scan the horizon constantly just to avoid becoming breakfast yourself. If you happened to scrape your knee while sprinting for your life, there were no emergency rooms or antibiotics waiting for you. A simple infected cut was a death sentence, and your only medical option was chewing random local plants and hoping for the best. Waking up in the Ice Age meant fighting a continuous, calculated multi-front war against sub-zero freezing temperatures, constant daily starvation, and giant wild cats. Eventually, humans decided they were tired of chasing massive beasts through the snow. About 10,000 years ago, they invented agriculture and settled down in permanent villages to make the food come to them. This network map demonstrates the immediate, unintended consequence of agrarian life. By packing closely together, a single pathogen could spread rapidly from person to person, while the new grain-heavy diet caused severe vitamin deficiencies and rotting teeth. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, and the indoor misery reached its peak. Waking up as a medieval peasant meant your bed was a cloth bag stuffed with straw, sitting on a dirt floor, and packed tight with lice, fleas, and your family's livestock. Because houses lacked glass windows and used poorly ventilated open fires, your morning consisted of coughing through thick, toxic smoke while smelling like a mixture of wet dog, animal dung, and rotten milk. The breakfast waiting in the kitchen was a wooden bowl of pottage, a stew of roots and random vegetables boiling in the exact same pot your great-great-grandfather used. You ate it alongside bread baked with cheap fillers like sawdust that was so hard it could crack a human skull. Drinking a glass of water to wash it down was lethal. The local rivers were highly contaminated with human waste and parasites. To avoid waterborne diseases like dysentery or typhoid, everyone, even toddlers, drank weak beer every single morning. If that century-old stew upset your stomach, the doctor's solution was balancing your bodily humors. Treatment usually involved draining your blood by slitting your arm with a rusty butter knife or slapping live, writhing leeches onto your skin. The relentless drive to invent a comfortable, settled life initially backfired, merely swapping the threat of apex predators for the invisible horrors of disease and filth. Snap back to the present day. You are lying on a soft mattress, safe from wild predators, with hot coffee waiting for you in the kitchen. Looking at this chart, you can trace exactly what it took to get here. This single continuous line represents an unbroken chain of ancestors who navigated volcanic winters, lethal bacteria, and apex predators without failing a single time. Every comfort you enjoy today is built on centuries of unimaginable suffering and the absolute stubbornness of the people who came before you. The next time you feel like complaining about your slow coffee maker, remember the staggering improbability of your survival, and make sure to hit that subscribe button before natural selection does its job.